All right, guys. So here's the S Series. So as what we've got is what's been happening. Basically, is when you pull up to a stop or when you're driving along and you slow down and stop, she coughs and farts and basically just stalls. So I believe it could be what's happening is the power valve in the 350 Holley is faulty or playing around. So I've got a kit. So here's the kit that I got. So we're going to change a few gaskets. I'm going to put a new needle and seed, a couple of diaphragms. There's the power valve, which I'm going to change, and a few other little gaskets while I'm here. I'm not going to do a full rebuild, but I'm just going to change the main stuff and see how we go. So let's get to it. All right, so this old girl was built a little while ago. When I originally done the motor. Alright. Let's crack these off. Alright. Some rag under here, just in case you have a bit of fuel. So I haven't touched this. It was rebuilt. It was rebuilt quite a while ago now, so it hasn't been touched, so it's probably overdue. Right. Sure should have a bit of fuel in here. Just nice and loose. And these 350s are pretty basic. So it does have the good gaskets on. That drain out a little bit. Pretty clean. It's pretty clean in there, so it's good. Float probably could be adjusted up a little bit. Oh. Just want to be real gentle with these. Oh. Beautiful. There's your power valve. Gasket's probably not looking too bad, to be honest. These are a reusable type of gasket. It's held up pretty good. Pretty clean, I've got to say. Very clean. Power valve. All right, let's change the power valve. Pretty simple. The old one, little gasket. Okay. Actually got two gaskets on it for some reason. The new one. Just tighten it up, just make sure you don't cross thread it. Put it in. Make sure gasket is sitting central. Yep. then just nip it up. With these, you do not need to over tighten them. Okay, that's it. That's done. All right. Now, for this, undo that. Pop off that, this little gasket here. All right, so now this has got a little, as you can see, it's squared off corners. Little focus, there you go, squared off corners, which fit over the needle and seat, as you can see. So I basically put that on there and just wind it out. This one doesn't feel too bad. It still feels like the seal on it's actually got a bit of grip on it, which is good. And then needle and seed will just slip out. Yeah, this needle and seed doesn't look too bad, but we'll change it. Now in here, take these 4 screws and there will be a spring. Now, as you can see, these bolts are not done up tight at all, okay? So, or screws, whatever you want to call it, they're only very loose. Alright, there you go. So this has got the silicone one in there, which is good. You know, I might leave that. They do say with these, when you do, before you put them back on, just face them over a bit of sandpaper and a bench, just flat on a piece, and just face them, because these tend to warp because people over tighten them. So, but we'll leave that because it's got the new silicone one in there, so no point changing it. I do have a new one there. If it does give me grief, I'll change it. These are simple to get to, so just nip them up. Not putting much pressure on it at all. All right. Now let's put the new needle and seat. All right. Start to loosely tighten it. We'll just drop it down. All right. Now, rule of thumb. If this flat bit, if you go halfway down that nut, generally that's pretty well spot on where to have your float set. So let's go halfway down. I don't know how good you're going to see it, but if we go almost halfway down that nut, okay, if I can get it, which are about there now. So if we just hold that, we'll turn this over. Now, the top of the float, if you can see inside, see the float level screw, which is on the side, there. So see that, if you line that up with the top of that generally, well there you can see it's pretty, it's hard to see, let me get the torch, might help. See the top of that, and if you line it up with the bottom of that screw hole, which is pretty well right, as I said, so that's almost halfway down that bolt. Hopefully that's showing good. All right, that's pretty well set. So let's put the top screw on. First we put our we've got to put our new gaskets on here. So there's 2 new gaskets. A big and a little one. So the big one goes on the bottom. big gasket goes on the bottom. Put our bolt on. Then the little one goes on top. And then we put our screw back in. Tighten her up. Again, we're not overdoing these, we're just tightening it up. Okay, that's it. Done. Alright, now one other thing. Inside here, there should be a little spring and a filter, which is always good to clean it out. So let's see if we can get her out easy enough. Probably easier to do it when it's on the car. Alright, so it didn't take much to crack that. So let's have a look what we got in here. And there you go, it doesn't even have one in there. Interesting. So generally there's a little filter in here. Little filter and a spring which holds the filter in place. But for some reason this one doesn't have it. Bit unusual. Alright, so that's done. It's ready to go back. That's ready to go back with a new power valve. Let's get you back over there, put a few new gaskets on. Also on these, replace the little gaskets on the end. You can get them off. Okay, you replace those 4 gaskets with some new ones. 4 new ones. And 4, so they're ready to go. All right, let's get these gaskets on. There's a couple of new ones. New gasket. Okay, just check it. All right. Check this gasket. Okay, fits over that. Okay, it's got some little locating pins. All right, now let's just slide it over. On. Okay, new one goes here, same thing again, it's got some little locating pins. 2, 3, 4, just make sure you just press them on. Nice and gentle. That's all set. Now that little arm goes underneath this. And just slide it there and then just put it on carefully. And it will locate itself. And we'll just put some bolts, position them. Now, same thing again, you don't have to over torque these. Make sure you find its position. And just pull it down with this. Now this should have just the tiniest bit of friction on there. You don't want it loose, but you don't want it pushing it down, okay? So it's just got to be evenly try and touch these up. Diagonal. Gentle, gentle. All right, that's that. Fuel line can go back on, tighten up. Vacuum line. All right, I think we're ready to try and get some fuel up. As you can see, it's been sitting at stone cold. Been sitting, the fuel tends to siphon back. So I might have to put a non-return valve on this. So let's give it a bit of a wind over and get some fuel up and just see how she runs. All right, we're starting to get some fuel. Check for leaks. No, she's stone cold, don't forget, guys. Running sweet. These old slant 6s are beautiful, mate. Take it for a spin. idling good. When I do that before, she'd cough and splutter and want to stall. Good. These things are so smooth to ride. Torque flights are beautiful in these. They go pretty well too. Rebuilt a few years ago. It's pretty stock, besides the cam, extractors and the Holley, etc. It goes pretty well. They just cruise along. You can start it up, you can cruise as far as you want. It just doesn't give up. So it's a nice reliable car, and it sits on the road better than most new cars today. About to pull back in at home. I hope you enjoyed this little journey. I have. It's fixed the problem, and thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.